Hello, and welcome back. This video is about spawning waves based on the previous video's data-driven wave data. And a special thanks to all my supporters. Thank you for helping me help others. So to start, we're just going to add another wave to the JSON file. So to do that, I'm just going to copy and paste this section. I need to go back up here and add a comma. This name should be separate. The names need to be unique, so we'll just use the naming convention Unreal would have done. Just _0 there. This one I'm going to make a starting time of 3. This will be the green enemy. We'll do 4 of them and we'll keep the delay the same. So I'm going to hit F5 and see you in the editor. So as usual, we changed the JSON file, so we need to import it. And if we open up our data table, there it is. I'm going to first create another child of enemy base. We'll call this BP green enemy. And here I'm going to set the static mesh to UFO green. And then I'm going to go on the static mesh and set its scale to 0.5. With that set, in the Wave Manager, I first need to update our enemy type class. Green is now pointing to green enemy. All right, to use our data-driven wave data, first we need to go into our begin play and make sure that import data is being called. With that called inside of update wave, we can get rid of this section. And we're going to iterate through our wave data array. So first we're going to take our wave data structure, we're going to break it, and we have our 5 values here. As we iterate through this array, the first thing we are going to check is if start time is valid. So for that, we're going to call get game time in seconds. As long as this value is greater than our start time. That effectively means this wave is currently valid, or at least the first check for this wave being valid is true. The second check is if our spawn count is greater than 0. So we're going to be updating this wave data in this loop. So depending on how you like to structure your own blueprint code, you could make all 4 of these local variables. For this example, we're going to make our spawn count and delay remaining local variables because those are the 2 that are getting updated. So we're going to promote this to a local variable. We can call it spawn count. Use that to check the value. So as we spawn enemies, spawn count will just be decremented by 1 and then set back into the structure. So when it gets to 0, then there's nothing to spawn anymore. When there is something to spawn, the first thing we're doing is we're taking our delay remaining, which will also promote to a local variable. Call this delay remaining. This will go over here. So the delay remaining is the value that's set to the spawn delay, and then it's just decremented by the delta over time. So we can just do that directly. When you do a promote to local variable, it's doing 2 things. First, it's putting a variable down here that you can name, and then it's just putting in a normal set call here. So there's nothing special about the way it set it up, so we can just use this. Pull that out, subtract, get our delta that we sent to the function, and then put that in here. Next, we're going to run a sequence. Since we've gotten to this point, this means that the wave data structure is being updated. So to do that, we're going to drag our wave data back out. We're calling set array element on our array, and we're going to set along the index that is part of this loop, as well as the item, which is make wave data. So you have no way to just arbitrarily update these values because we're just getting a copy of the wave data. It says it here by ref, but it's not actually by ref coming out of here. And since you can't just update it in line, we're basically making the wave data structure again, using most of the same data, and just setting it to that array index directly. So for that, we can drag over our start time, our enemy type, and our spawn delay. The spawn count and delay remaining, we can just drag in from here. And lastly, we have our index. And that will be the second pin up on the sequence. So when everything is done, then that just gets set. So the first thing we're checking up here is if our delay remaining is less than or equal to 0. That means we need to spawn an enemy. So first we can call our spawn enemy function. This is taking the enemy type, which we're getting from over here. And then because we're spawning an enemy, we need to reset the values of delay remaining and decrement spawn count. So our delay remaining is based on our spawn delay. And then our spawn count, we can just call decrement. And with that set, we have our purple enemies spawning at a time of 2. There's 5 of them with a delay of 2. Our green enemies are starting at 3. There will be 4 of them and also a delay of 2, so they match the other ones. So after 2 seconds, start spawning purple, then green, purple, green, purple, green, purple. So there's 5 purple enemies, 4 green enemies. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video and would like to see more, you know what to do. And if you would like to support this channel, watch these videos 2 weeks early, or just want to download the project files, you could do so through my Patreon linked below.